I'm proud to introduce our student poets who are here to share with all of you. Emiliano.
I open the old, rusty metal gate and walk out onto the dirty pavement.
You never know what you're going to find at the corner of Golden Gate Avenue and Leavenworth in San Francisco's Tenderloin. Yesterday, an elderly woman was selling turquoise painkillers, Klonopin, right out of her hand. A few days ago, a group of millennials from a nearby tech company were handing out granola bars and fruit. But on this sunny afternoon, there are kids on the corner reading their poetry.
I see trees with sensitive green leaves falling down to the dirty ground.
I see a worn-out corner store.
I hear police sirens.
There are people shouting at each other, others devoid of spirit, lying on the sidewalk.
Realizing that they're slowly killing themselves and wondering how they got there.
Welcome back to the intersection. Kids might not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the Tenderloin, but the neighborhood has by far the highest density of children in the city, somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 kids. Within a half block of this corner, there are 2 childcare centers and Marillac Academy, a private Catholic school. The poems you just heard are from the 8th grade class. Almost all of the students are from the neighborhood, and they go to the school tuition-free. The poems show us the Tenderloin through their eyes, and one of them really got to me.
You See, I See by Britney Pirring. You see gum-covered dark gray pavement. I see a man on the pavement praying for help. My name is Britney Pirring. I'm in 8th grade and I live in the Tenderloin. The assignment was to write a poem about your neighborhood, and I just thought about how other people see it and how I see it. It's just thought as like a bad neighborhood with bad people. A lot of people don't want to go into the Tenderloin. They try to avoid it. And I was just trying to write something that would give a reaction from the readers when, like, open their eyes. They don't know that a lot of families live here. My mom and dad, they've been married for a really long time. I'm not exactly sure how they decided to come here, but I think it was because, like, rent was low or something.
My name is Michael Pirring, and I am the father of Britney Pirring. I moved to Tenderloin because we were kicked out of our apartment that I was living in Soma area, and I basically had about a week to move out, so I moved into the building that my future wife was living in. I figured, well, that's a good reason to be closer to her, and the rent was pretty cheap, so I decided to move in.
When I was single, my brother and I were roommates. So when I got married, I moved to room 218. So since then, I'm still there. I'm Eva Pirring, and I've been married for 25 years.
We have 4 kids.
Kimberly and John, then after that, then James. And then after 8 years, Britney came.
So we raised 4 kids inside the small apartment inside the Tenderloin. Raising a kid in the Tenderloin versus other parts of the city, I think you just kind of have to maybe watch them a little closer.
You see an ambulance, proving how dangerous this neighborhood is. I see a person who is about to save the life of another. I'm not allowed to walk alone through the Tenderloin at any time.
Her brother walks her to school every day, and they kind of basically just go straight to school and come, straight back home.
Like, I'd like to walk alone sometimes, or with a friend, but I know it's, like, for the best.
And I'm sure she sees things, that she wouldn't see in other neighborhoods, more homelessness and...
Well, I see some people doing bad stuff, but there's also, like, children walking to school with their families, but I don't really stay outside in the neighborhood often.
She, I guess, finds ways to keep occupied, indoors, playing games or reading versus going out, playing frisbee or outdoor activities like riding a bike. She doesn't get much sun, put it that way, living in the Tenderloin.
I just stay indoors in my house. It's small but comfy. And in a corner, sometimes I make a fort out of blankets. I live with my brother and my dad and my mom, my grandma. I used to live with my brother and my sister, but they moved out because, they went to college.
We have a very small apartment. I would think maybe 400 square feet. The kitchen is probably 12 feet by 15 feet. You walk down a small hallway and the bedroom, living room might be 14 feet by 16 feet. And we have our whole family living in there. But we do have quite a bit of space for bedding. My wife and I sleep on the California king bed.
And I sleep with my grandma on a bunk bed. And my fort is on my bed too.
Britney kind of hangs out on the bottom of the bunk bed playing her iPad, or she's on a computer.
I'll do homework, and I like to watch YouTube videos. I also play video games, PC games like Minecraft. My dad, he likes to play video games as well.
I actually grew up with Pong and the older games like that, Atari 2600, Nintendo, and in 1987 I was in the Guinness Book of World Records for the high score in Super Mario Brothers. Now we got the Xbox One, so that's kind of my main hobby.
I don't like those type of games, but when we do play together, it's really competitive. Most of the time he beats me in his score. You see a beige building with broken windows and stained walls. I see Mom taking care of her 4 children, saving all her money for their future.
My mom told me when we left Philippines, take care of yourself, take care of the family, get a job. So I have 3 jobs. Until I got married, then I have only 2 jobs.
My mom is a DSW shoe clerk, and she's also a caretaker.
I'm working day and night, and my husband works all the way to Livermore.
He has to wake up really early to go to work.
It's a rough commute, almost 100 miles every day round trip. I leave at 6 in the morning, and I get back usually home about 5:45.
I know he works with batteries. Sometimes when he goes home from work, there'd be holes in his shirt because of acid.
I work at Lawrence Livermore Lab. I kind of fell into maintenance and working on batteries, which my dad was in. And I don't want my daughter, doing what I do. I'd rather her, use her mind to work more than physical, be more of a white-collar worker than a blue-collar worker.
You see a gloomy neighborhood, scary and stained. I see hopeful community, learning and living.
Yeah, I was impressed with that poem that she wrote.
I was surprised that she can express herself to do that poem. And I said, did somebody help you to do that? And they said, no, Mommy.
So, yeah, I was very happy that she actually thinks that way. I was glad that she has a positive outlook on what the things that she sees in the Tenderloin, because most people come and walk through the Tenderloin and they see homelessness and they see older buildings and they think, well, this isn't a place I want to live. There's not much here for a family, but she sees the opposite.
There's a lot of chances and opportunities here.
We're no different, in the Tenderloin from anywhere else. We want the best for our families and try to provide that for them. Our main concern, my wife and I, is just getting the best education possible.
We were so very grateful that they opened a school here. And at the time, my first daughter, Kimberly, she was in a 5th grader, and my husband and I were planning to send Kimberly to any private school, And I told it to my husband, there's no way we can afford. But just silently, I heard that from the church. I said, Michael, they're opening a private school. Can you imagine in this area? And, I was thinking about it's a miracle happening here.
We've had 3 kids already go through Marillac, so we know that's a real good school. And if there wasn't a Marillac Academy in the Tenderloin, we probably would have moved out of the neighborhood. Brittany is doing really well at school, and, we're very proud of her. And she got accepted into Sacred Heart to go to high school.
We will support her, whatever she wants to do in her life. I think she wants to be a leader or a writer, or I don't know. I can, it's so hard to predict, but she is so very smart. And I told her, I guess you got Daddy's brain, but you got my beauty. So I told her.
I'm not sure what I want to be. Sometimes I want to be a coder, coding websites or video games. Yeah. Other times I want to be like a famous music celebrity like Ariana Grande. But I want to have like a brain like Gandhi, because he made really powerful changes in the world and powerful speeches. I want to have like a brain like his and a life like Ariana Grande.
Sure, it's an unlikely combination, but believe it or not, Britney's dream life might not be as far-fetched as it sounds. Britney is the president of her 8th grade class, and she can sing. Recently, she worked with Jordan Karp, a local songwriter, who volunteered to help her put her words to music.
Let's try that first line. 2, 3, 4.
You see covered dark gray pavement. I see a man praying for help. You hear an ambulance crying through the streets. I see someone saving a life, saving a life, saving a life. You see a beige building, broken windows and stained walls. I see a mother taking care of her kids. You see a dark, gloomy, broken neighborhood. I see a hopeful community saving our life, saving our life.
What time did you say you have to leave? 25? 25? Okay, let's record what we've got so far.
Thanks for listening to The Intersection. I'm David Boyer. Want to hear more of the kids' poems? Head to theintersection.fm and click on Golden Gate and Leavenworth. And while you're at it, subscribe to the Intersection podcast on iTunes or Stitcher. On the next episode, we'll hit the picket line with the hardworking members of the Unite Here Local 2 Union, which has been on the corner for 4 decades.
There's a boycott here!
I mean, this is the home of the American dream. This is the place right here on the corner of Golden Gate and Leavenworth.
The Intersection is a production of KALW. Ben Trefny is the editor, with an assist from Ashley Ann Krigbaum. It's engineered by Chris Hoff and me. Special thanks to David Thorpe, Ann Hepperman, Lisa Morehouse, Heidi Doro, and Daryl Carr for listening to the work in progress and serving up the wisdom. Projects like this don't just happen. This one was made possible with a grant from the San Francisco Arts Commission and support from Cal Humanities, a nonprofit partner of the NEH. And finally, I want to thank all the folks of Golden Gate and Leavenworth for talking with me and sharing your stories. It continues to be an honor.